What's going on, YouTube fam? Coach here, and today we're gonna find out that Johnny 5 is alive. Stay tuned to the end to see the clip of what the heck I mean when I say Johnny 5 is alive. So, I recently have been racking my brain, right? Bracking, is that a word? I've been racking my brain. Tony Braxton says it. Tony Braxton says it. It must be a real word. So, I've been racking my brain because a few weeks ago, my audio interface died on me. I was using an M Audio Ultra Fast Track Ultra 8R, which is the rack version of the Fast Track Ultra, right? 8 inputs, 8 outputs, rack version. It finally just got too old on me. I couldn't do so many updates because software had updated, computer updated, but drivers didn't update, and I'm sure everyone has been through it. I was looking on the internet for something that I could find in my budget between 100 and 150 bucks, what would give me my biggest bang for the biggest buck. And then I found this beauty right here. That, my friends, is a Behringer UMC404. 4 inputs, 4 outputs, a bunch of yummy goodness. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over into the footage while I do the voiceover thing, and you guys can see me unbox, review, and eventually test it out. Then I will give you my thoughts on it at the very end, whether it's a 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, 1 up, 1 down. I'll let you know what I think. So let's go over that. This is what comes in the box. You get the actual interface itself, its paperwork, a USB adapter, and then of course you get the power brick. It's a beautiful Lumen cast. You got your 4 combo inputs in the front, so you got both mic and line inputs. And then each channel has its line instrument switch. Of course, every interface has it, plus a pad. Then you have 2 little LEDs in the front, your clip LED and your signal LED, just to make sure that you do have signal coming in. And then of course, your gain knob, so you can input signal and adjust how much of that you want. So there I noticed that there's a stereo mono button, which I use every single time I mix. I use a stereo mono button. Why? Because if it sounds good in mono, then it should sound good in stereo, right? There's a lot of things that can get masked when you're only mixing in stereo, so I really appreciated that. Stereo mono button, you don't have to do it in the software, you can do it on the hardware itself. You have your mix knob, and that's what allows for our 0 latency, so you can hear straight what's coming in the signal with no latency. We have our monitor A and B switch, our main output gain, right, our knob there, and then of course our headphones so we can hear what we're doing. So right off the bat, USB 2.0 audio MIDI recording interface, 24-bit 192 kilohertz resolution for high definition audio recording. There's Midas mic preamps. I'm gonna dive a little deeper into this later on in the video. Once I flip it over, I notice it has these 4 little rubber stopper feet, which is great because sometimes if you're pumping the bass really loud and if you're getting into it, everyone knows these things tend to move around. It's the same reason we buy pads or Auralex to put under our speakers. We don't want everything shifting and moving. We want to keep it in one spot, and that's a great little feature to have. So once I turn this around, the first thing I notice is the 5-volt DC jack. You have your USB input, your MIDI in and out. Next we come with our little key lock, make sure you got it safe, and our 48-volt phantom power. Next to that we have 2 sets of playback outputs, A and B. After that we have our main outputs, and I really enjoy the fact that they've given us the option of XLR out and 1/4 inch out. I personally always have 2 sets of monitors so I can A/B my mixes, and this right here will allow me to hook both of my sets of monitors up simultaneously. I really enjoy that feature. To the right of that, we have 4 inserts which you can use to run any outboard gear that you have. Very convenient. Another feature that most audio interfaces at this price point do not feature. So this thing is packed full of features. I'm enjoying all of the features so far. So connection is fairly simple. Plug in the power, plug in the USB cable, plug in your mic, my pop filter with a hole in it, phantom power on. And then notice in the front when the phantom power turns on, you have the phantom power indicator light, which also turns on just to let you know that you have it going so no accidents happen. I open up my DAW of choice, which is Ableton Live. And we do our little setup. So in the preferences of Ableton Live, I can actually see what I'm doing. There's our audio input devices, and it's as simple as choosing it for my input and choosing it for my output. There was no other driver type. This is what blew my mind, people. Right, so I set it up. I put my input configurations. I use all 4 inputs, sometimes for guitar, sometimes for my synths that I have. And then I use my outputs in stereo for monitoring. At this point, checking out all the sample rates, and you can see all the sample rates that are there. And we're gonna do a little test. Hey, yo, 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 P42 Sherman, East Wallaby Way. Hey, yo, 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 P42 Sherman, East Wallaby Way. So now I'm on the website, and notice that there's 2 different versions. There's a 202 and there's a 404. The 204 with 2 inputs, 4 outputs. They have a couple of different versions that they offer you. I'm just gonna click on the exact one that I got. I wanted 4 inputs. I just like to have extra inputs just in case I record a few things at the same time, or me and a friend record at the same time and jam, or I just need to take it somewhere and record more than 1 instrument at a time. They brag about the MIDI preamps. What the heck is the MIDI preamps? I had no idea. Honestly, I had to be honest with you. So I had to go do research myself. So MIDI for front of house, Pro Series, but I'm trying to find out who actually used this. What's all this bragging, right? That it's award winning and whatnot. So just quickly going through the site, I'm sure if I did more research, I could probably find more people. But I see the name Kenny Chesney on the right. So right off the bat, I'm noticing some pretty big names. My eyes quickly went to Elvis Presley, right? Billy Joel, the Beach Boys. I mean, this is some pretty huge names, not just in rock and roll history, but in music history, right? So they've been around for quite some time, and they've been with some of the biggest names in music history. So, you know, Frank Zappa had a custom one made. Pink Floyd used this thing. Pink Floyd. And it was using the show Cats and Evita. Okay, so, I mean, that's enough for me. Right? That's enough for me. I've seen that quite a few people have relied on this and they actually trust it to use it, and it's been recommended and passed on to the next big names and big stages and big acts. So that was enough to convince me. So here's one other thing I noticed. If you go into the system preferences, see at the bottom, M Audio Fast Track Ultra, that's what I used to have. And I used to have to download a driver for it. And it wasn't that much of a headache, but there's always some kind of software driver. One thing I absolutely loved about this thing is there was no software drivers to have to download whatsoever. You know, it's just headache free, plug and play right away off the bat. My final thoughts. There was quite a few pros. So many pros, I don't even want to go over the list all over again. My biggest con, and I will go over the cons list because it's really just one con, the phantom power, the 48 plus volts. If you're gonna put it on, why would you put it all the way in the back? Oh, Behringer, don't know. Oh, I gotta reach.
He wasn't ready.
I just don't understand why you would have to reach all the way to the back to apply 48 volts when this is a consumer product. It should go right in the front where I could just click and it's on. Granted, most consumers aren't rolling around with ribbon mics that you can fry, but accessibility. It's all about accessibility. Aside from that, more pros than I can even count. Preamps for every in, you got your pads, MIDI, right? We had to do some research to what the heck MIDI was. I was ignorant to it, but apparently it's something great. And some of the biggest in the world. Hello, the king? The king, right? Right? So you really can't beat that. My opinion, this thing gets 2 thumbs up, way up, all the way 10 plus. After hearing it, running it through my monitors, I noticed it had a very, very smooth, rounded sound. It was just so smooth sounding. I love it, and I'm looking forward to recording the next album on it. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Let me know in the comments below what you like. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those good things. I'll catch you guys next time. I need an outro. Yeah, I need an outro. Coach, out.
Hey, laser lips! Your mama was a snowblower.